Oh. There we are.
It's me. This weird dude.
I think I can see that.
Can I? No.
Oh, we haven't pushed resume. Yeah. Or I don't know.
Oh,
Okay,
where'd it go?
what did you just do though?
I fixed it
So
somehow.
somehow can we connect Kirsty?
Screen share?
Um,
Dial guess up, down, or off.
what?
Oh, right there.
There we go. Okay. Oh,
What's
Kirsty can see and hear us.
Perfect. Okay. 1 second. Close.
Can you hear me now? I think I got my sound working at least. Can you hear me now? I think I got my sound working at least. Let's turn that down a bit. That's very loud. Holy Dinah. Let's turn that down a bit. That's very loud. Holy Dinah. Turn that down a bit. That's very loud. I wonder my headphones are on. Like why?
What is
See,
that
that's
sound?
that's why you have to use headphones, because you get like, whoa. Okay, I cannot figure out how to.
What is that sound?
I don't know what that is.
Is that
That's so
Kirsty?
weird. It's so delayed. Oh my goodness. I don't know how to add it to this.
You should be able to just go to the go to this, click that.
Yeah, I've done that. It's not working.
Did she get the invite?
No.
So maybe it's the wrong Kirsty.
Well, I also sent it to Kitty Corner Writer. Kitty Corner Writer person. This is so funny. It's so delayed.
So what should we do here?
Hold on.
Are you
That's
friends with her? Okay, we should just close this and end this. Because you should be able to add her as a friend, and then you should be able to just pull it up pretty easy.
well, like who are all these other people that are coming up? Oh, do I not? Maybe.
She said she can't add Broken Bookshelf through Google Hangouts.
Why not? Oh, shoot. Does she follow me? Oh my goodness. What's happening? I don't know what's happening.
Are you gonna leave that playing?
Maybe. Okay. 1 minute. We'll be right back.
like,
Kirsty.
Hey.
Yes! Oh my goodness. Thank the Lord. Okay. Let's get this back going then. Hold on.
Oh.
Where was I now?
yeah.
Okay. Wait. Okay, wait, what?
Join. Take me there.
Okay.
Is it working?
I want to make sure that it's working with you now. No. Oh, wait. Oh, yes. Okay, it's
Oh, it
just like
alternates.
super
Okay.
delayed, yeah.
Hey.
Okay, yeah, we just like should. Okay, so we have to go by, we're just gonna have to trust that that page is working. Oops. Mute this and go by this. Okay, Kirsty, I think we're working. Can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Wait, trade me headphones. Okay. Okay, you can hear us? Yeah, this is really loud.
Holy crap.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I can control that. How do I control the volume? Hey, Kirsty, what are you watching?
It's you. It's just the
Okay.
screen. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you can hear me right now though, because I was
Yeah.
just okay, because on the YouTube page it's like super delayed.
Yeah,
Oh.
I just realized that and turned the volume off. So
Okay, sweet. I'm just trying to figure out how to turn down the volume here because it's like really loud.
There you go.
Um,
you can turn down. We can mute Kirsty if you wanted
we
to.
can mute you.
what the hell? What's the point of that?
Okay, so well that was a bit of a gong show. Oh, I just realized you cannot see Mitch at all.
That's all right.
Okay, here, I'll move over.
Am I gonna sit on
No,
this
you're
basket
super
the whole
quiet.
time?
Hang on.
I'm super quiet
Oh,
Yeah.
because I was coming
I
in
just turned my volume up.
I was coming in super loud for myself. Oops.
okay, you should turn that back to what it was.
Are we good? Am I less quiet now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully you
Alright.
can't hear yourself too much.
No, it should be fine. It's just you I'm concerned about. Hopefully we're not coming in super loud for the viewers.
The viewers at home.
The three. I think that's including us. It might be me and okay, perfect. Michelle says we're good on that side. Thank you, Michelle. You're like a huge help.
And she sent us an emoji.
And she sent us an emoji.
Which is also fun.
Michelle discovered we can use emojis. Do tell, because I clearly do not know what I'm doing. Okay, can I make this smaller so that I can see the chat at the same time?
Of course you can.
La,
It's
la, la.
2016. We know how to live stream.
Okay, so essentially this is what just happened. We were supposed to meet early to go over stuff, to get all our thoughts in order, but that didn't happen because I suck and didn't get this ready on time. So we're just gonna gong show this.
Wing it. Just wing it.
Mitch just finished the book yesterday. No, Friday. What day is it? It's
Friday.
He finished it on Friday. He
read it
read the entire
one
book
day.
in one day.
So it's all fresh.
I
It's
said
all
that.
fresh in my mind.
Yeah, so he's got the freshest.
Oh, I finished it this morning.
Oh, really? So
See?
both of you guys are really fresh. I think I finished it like the beginning. When did I finish it?
Like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, a few
Or,
weeks
like,
ago, like
more than
beginning of
that.
December, maybe.
Yeah.
So I have notes though.
There you go.
I
really
took
should have written down notes. I'm mad that I didn't.
yeah.
I
One of my
took a
goals
few when
this
I was
year.
reading it on my phone, but I didn't have time to take notes.
Yeah, I don't take super detailed notes, but I have some notes. So yeah, anyways, so where should we start?
I don't know.
So did you end up liking it, Kirsty? Because I know in the message boards you were saying that you aren't super into historical fiction, so you weren't really liking it that much.
Like in the like discussion board on Goodreads, like I said that in the end I ended up liking it, but I not enough that I would want to read it again. It was kind of like one of those.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of
Right.
one of those. I'm glad that I read it in the first place, but it's just, yeah, I don't know. It was good for like the historical, like, you know, seeing it from the perspective of a German in Germany during World War II, but other than that, it was like, yeah, I'm glad I read it, but that was basically it.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I'm like the exact opposite. I would reread this book so fast. I bawled my eyes out, Kirsty. You have no idea.
Books are hard to make you cry. It takes a lot for them to make you cry.
Really? Did you cry? You didn't cry, did you?
Me?
Nope.
No.
You are soulless.
I didn't cry.
You didn't cry either? Oh,
I did cry in my other book club book, The Knife of Never Letting Go, but only at the very.
I want to read that one. Yeah.
I think I would read it again.
Would you?
For me, it's not necessarily about subject matter. I just like the style of the book is really what draws me. So I really like appreciated how like the writing and how it was laid out. So
yeah,
it's kind of like that when I'm reading a book. If it's bland and boring, it doesn't matter if it's about, you know, my favorite things like music or whatever. Like I can't read it. Like a book, how it's written, the style of it is the most important for me. So I would totally read it again.
Yeah. I thought there was some creative layout with this. I liked that Death was the narrator. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, and different. I liked how like certain things were highlighted, like certain ideas.
Yeah, me too.
It just oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It made it interesting, and that's like part of what got me or kept me reading was, I mean, I was gonna finish it anyway, but if I was just trying to finish it on my own, I was like, okay, I gotta get to like that next part so I can see like, you know, what little excerpt that was.
Yeah. Yeah, I found that in the prologue, I feel like maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but in the prologue, I feel like it was like super creative, like everything. There were like so many different. Sorry, I'm like flipping there now. Yeah, there was a lot of things highlighted. There were different things, just like there were bullet points, and it was just like laid out really different. And like what I was talking about in the discussion boards about how like color was like a huge theme throughout the whole book. Yeah, it was definitely highlighted a lot in the prologue, and then I found that everything sort of like it wasn't like as often, so he stopped like formatting as often, like using the creative formatting, highlighting certain things. It wasn't as often, and he didn't mention color as often as in the prologue, but it was still throughout the book. But the prologue was definitely like it hit you like kind of right upside the head, and then it sort of mellowed out from there.
I found he did a good job though of like not over like stimulating that. Like he kind of really mentions it at the beginning, and then it's like just kind of thrown in throughout the book. Like, so I know what you're saying. Like it's like at the beginning there's a lot of it, but if he would have kept doing that, it would have been annoying.
Right.
Like well with the colors like specifically, but like during the book every now and then Death just like mentions something about the color of the sky, like just little things like that. Like I really liked how he did that.
I loved that. Yeah, I loved noticing the color of the sky. Michelle says the prologue and the epilogue matched perfectly. That's a really good point. I didn't notice that. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. So yeah, the prologue and the epilogue both. I loved how you got just like little tidbits in the epilogue of like everybody that you cared about, kind of, or oh man. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. Having formatting styles matching in the prologue and the epilogue, and then having it sort of calm down a little bit in the middle. But yeah, I think it would have gotten old. You're right. I
Yeah.
agree.
I never thought about it like being very what's the word, related or like current with like what's going on with Trump, like Michelle was saying. Like I didn't even think of that while I was reading it, but now that I read it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is totally like it was a good book to pick for this time frame, just because of everything that's going on. Like
Yeah.
people are calling Trump
Driving
the new Hitler
crazy.
and all this stuff.
Oh
Like,
my goodness, that's crazy. Yes, I live in the US, she says. Kirsty, are you following the chat on YouTube as well? Kirsty?
hello.
There we go.
Oh, you were breaking up, I
Cut
guess.
out for a second there.
Are you following the YouTube chat? Like, are you watching it?
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to like flip back and forth so I can see everything.
Yeah, I'm not like commenting on the like I'm not typing anything out on the YouTube chat. I'm just like following it along, and so yeah, I'm glad Michelle is here, giving us her input.
Go Michelle.
Actually, while we're talking here, I'm gonna load all the discussion boards on Goodreads so that we can. There were some really, I think it was Michelle and another girl named Kayla. I don't think she's here right now, but they were both making some really good points on the book as a whole. So, okay, let me see what I have on my notes.
I'm just pumped this is working right now.
Yeah, I know. Basically, we're just like, yes, we got it working. Yeah. I keep like wanting to come back to this like sky symbolism stuff. I really loved that. Like all of the different ways he found to describe color in new ways. Like all of the different things, instead of just saying like, oh yeah, it was a brown sky or like whatever. Or even just like cliche things like I don't know, would be cliche brown thing, or like the sky was tree leaf green. I don't know. He always found like really romantic ways to say everything, and I think that's what I like about his work in this book the most, is just like his writing was just like so poetic the whole way through. And it just caused me to it was just he just has a way of wording things in a way that causes me to be able to like picture it so perfectly, and it's just like so creative and beautiful the way he is able to just like describe things like I would never be able to. And there's like certain moments in his writing when I'm reading it, I'm like, how do you even come up with that? Like that's not even like it's so beautiful, but it's so like off key for me that I just like don't even know how people write like that. Mitch is good at thinking in those kind of ways.
He comes at it from different perspectives, and it's super refreshing. Like especially with like personification and like giving inanimate objects like
the word.
Like words or the sky or whatever, giving them like people-like qualities, but also giving people like inanimate object qualities. There's one quote that I had highlighted. It's like Hans Huberman wore a face with the shades pulled down. Like just stuff like that. Like his quote or his writing is just, it's different, and that's, for me, that draws me in.
Yeah, that's a cool way of putting it. Like he not only personifies inanimate objects, he also brings the inanimate quality to humans. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I love that all over. What did you think of his writing, Kirsty? Like, I know you didn't necessarily like the content or like however you would put that, but what did you think of the writing?
I really liked his writing. Probably my favorite part was the personification of words. Just because like every single one, I would just stop and I'm like, oh, that sounds really awesome. So I would like write it down or like take the picture of that sentence on my phone. Because I thought like it was just, what better way to kind of give emotion to those words than to give them personal like feelings and emotions or actions. So.
Yeah, and it was just like in context too, like the book is about the importance of words and books and stuff. So it was, I feel like in that context, the fact that he was so good at personification was like perfect for what he was, like the story that he was trying to portray. Because if he like he made the books mean something.
Yeah.
Because he personified them in a way. Like it's like the books and the words were their own character almost.
Mhm.
Like in all these things she was reading and doing and figuring out through the world, it's like and yeah, all of like everything Max wrote, and it's like those were characters in themselves. They had their own personalities, and so yeah, I thought the personification was just like really appropriate for the content and the subject matter of the book.
I would agree.
Just like,
I keep pulling your headphone out.
yeah, I know. We're like sharing a pair of headphones. Yeah, Michelle, he definitely like showed how valuable a book is, which is so perfect. Like, I think I love this book half because I just like identify with it. Like, books are just like so important to me that I'm just like, yes, like I'm just pumped. I get pumped reading books about how important the written word is, and like how that like reading can change lives or whatever. It can inspire people, and that was just like a theme that I easily, obviously, get pumped on.
Yeah, and look at like I think her name's Ivana Lynch. She's the girl who played Luna in the Harry Potter series, and reading literally changed her life. She was, you know, in the hospital battling what was it, anorexia, and
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, like, it was eventually like her going to go see J.K. Rowling that changed her life, but initially it was reading caused that, you know, moment to happen. So
yeah, I remember hearing that. That's so crazy. Yeah, that's a really good example.
Yeah, it sounds weird, but I kind of appreciated like just talking about, like Michelle mentioned, the skies and how they really like brought you into the scene. Like I found I didn't have to use my imagination as much.
Yeah.
Like which it sounds weird because like that's like a huge reason why you read books is so that you can like exercise your imagination, and like with this book I just found that he was so good at describing things, and it really like struck a chord with me that I didn't really have to use my imagination as much, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely know what
it
you
was
mean.
it was just different.
But it like still inspired, like
boring.
he just like wrote the picture so well. And yeah, like I definitely agree with Michelle. Like we can see why his books or this book at least has been made into a movie, because he just laid it out just so clearly, like background areas and scenes and feelings and just perspectives. Yeah, I haven't. Michelle, have you actually watched The Book Thief? Because we haven't watched it yet. We're planning on getting together at the end of the month and watching it as a group. So we're wondering if it's going to be
Better
close.
or worse.
Yeah, we'll see how close to the book it is. There's like 2 or 3 movies in existence that are like book to movie that I like. I'm like, yeah, they hit that perfectly. Like, and that's one is Gone Girl. The movie was super good. Like, it was pretty close to the novel. And The Fault in Our Stars is the other one. Those are the 2 that I can think of that are like really good. But I've heard the Book Thief movie isn't quite as good as the book was, but the book was quite a magical experience. So
Yeah, I don't know if you can top the book.
well,
just in
especially when
general.
especially when it's so like creatively laid out. Like I think books like this, I've been seeing it come up on Netflix for like the last sorry, I'm like addressing Michelle's comment again. I'm all over the place, but I've been seeing it come up on Netflix, the movie, and I've been like, I really want to watch that, but no, I'm gonna read the book first. I'm gonna do it. So I was really pumped that we chose this for our book club. But as I was saying, I feel like, especially with books like this that are like creatively laid out, and half of the magic that is the story is in like the layout of the book and like what the author takes you through on a visual level in the book, or like walks you through that, like just with his formatting. And even like when it came to Max's story that he wrote for her, like that was probably my top part in the book because just of the creativity of it. Like you could see, what was the book he wrote it on?
The fable or the first story he wrote?
The first one. The first one. He wrote it on that German book. Yeah. He wrote it on top, and you could like see it, like the
I was
author
like trying to read it.
yeah, like the author didn't just like give us the images that Max drew. He also like
overlaid
it on top of the other book as if we were actually Liesel reading this book. Like I love stuff like that. And so when it comes to books like this where he like the author creatively lays things out like this, and that's like half the magic and half the whole like reason why you're just like drawn in so much to the story.
The
I feel like
man.
Yeah, the standover man. Yeah, like I feel like it would be like so hard to make that into a movie because it's just like half the magic is in the layout of the book and the creative literature.
Well, and even if they did put it in the movie, like I haven't watched it either, but it's like I feel like they wouldn't be able to do it justice anyway because it would probably be looking over Liesel's shoulder as she's reading it, and that would basically be it.
Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. Like the other example I can think of, I keep bringing this book up, but it's because I loved it so much, and it's for this creative aspect, was Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. Like Mitch loaned that to me, and it was like Kirsty, you haven't read that book, right? Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. Oh, it's so good. Like if you need to read it. Like it's so creative. And it's like the perfect combination of just like art and literature just like meeting, and it's just like
a beautiful collision.
It's just so good. But then when we watched the movie, it like obviously wasn't as good because most of the magic of this book, it wasn't in the story so much as it was in like everything the author did to take you through the story on an art and literary basis. Like it was just so good. And I think that The Book Thief is sort of an example of this to a lesser extent. Like Extremely Loud is like it's like the artful concept of this book, just imagine that like just on like 10 times more, just so good. But oh no.
Nope, don't.
My computer just tried to restart after we got this all working. Oh yeah, Michelle, you need to read Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. Like the movie doesn't even like compare. Like go read it right now. I recommend it to everyone. It's like my favorite book. Also Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. Those two books. You all should read them. Okay. I'm trying to like look at my notes here.
I agree with Michelle on wanting to actually have the standover man. That would be awesome.
That would be. Do they make that?
They should.
Yeah. If they don't, they should. Yeah.
They should. I would buy that for sure.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was easy to like imagine how it would be, but like just to be able to feel like the thickness of the painted pages and like,
because that would be.
Feel like the ink or whatever, like it would have been sweet.
The whole story is just.
But he did, like we were saying, he did a really good job of giving it that feel, anyways, like in the book. But yeah.
But it would still be nice to. We should make it and sell it. We might be onto something, but I feel like we could possibly get sued. But
maybe. You just have to ask permission, right?
Yeah, Marcus seems like a good guy.
Okay, was the standover man? Yeah, the standover man was his birthday gift for Liesel, right? And then he left that other.
The other one was called. Let me just.
Apparently, I should have taken better notes.
That's why we have the book right
I take
here.
very abridged notes, but we're looking for what?
The word shaker.
Yeah, the word shaker. Yeah, that's the one he left for her.
In the bed.
His mom hid it in the bed or whatever. Okay, speaking of her mom, let's talk about her for a few minutes.
Rosa.
I was really intrigued by Rosa because I feel like she was a character that maybe. What did you think of her, Kirsty? Like I feel like like what do you think? How do you pronounce his last name? Zusak?
Sure.
What do you think? What do you think Zusak wants people to think about her?
Well, I I don't know. I think it was kind of like that character where it's like at the beginning you don't know what to think of her because she's so harsh,
Yeah.
and like she puts on this outer shell essentially, and then when things happen, when things really matter, she's there, she's dependable, um, and she's doing it all out of love. And I mean, like some people might have seen some of the things she did as abuse, but I mean, it's all really like everyone knows someone like that. Everyone knows someone who is just so harsh, but they're doing it out of love.
Tough love.
Not saying that that's an
Yeah.
excuse to do some of those things. Like things have obviously changed since then, but back then, I think that was kind of like a normal thing. That's kind of how some people were. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
especially
liked
back
her
then.
because in the end, like you just realized how much love she had for her foster daughter. Like she probably was like, "No, you are my daughter," right from the beginning. There was no, "You are my foster daughter." It's, "You are my daughter, and
Yeah.
I am your mom, and he's your dad."
Yeah, well, didn't she tell her to call him Papa
Yeah.
and Mama or something? Yeah, just right off the bat, she was like, "Call me Mama and him Papa." So
Yeah.
I feel
And
like
so like that, it's such a like stark contrast to some foster families today. Like I'm sure it happened back then too, but like some foster families today, it's like, yeah, you're here, but we're just doing it for the extra money, or like the foster system is so hit or miss. You either get a really good family or a family that just doesn't care. So
yeah,
anyways,
that's
they
so
were
true.
a awesome family.
Hmm.
I feel like she just helped kind of perpetuate a bunch of like themes in the book, like of the contrast of things. Like there's a quote, I can't remember what it is. It's about when the ash is falling and like it falls on her tongue,
Oh,
and it's like
I think I have that one
she
written down.
wants to like catch it, but then it's like, so it's talking about the beauty of the ash, but also that it can burn you.
Wait, I have
And like
that
I think the having Rosa as like the what's the word, like the diversity in the family and the dynamic in the family is totally like, I think it needed a mom like that because Hans was so loving and so like gentle, and like it just kind of balanced the whole family dynamic. And I think if she would have been the same, like Liesel wouldn't have developed how she did. Like I think Rosa played a huge part in like how Liesel kind of was brought up and how she like developed over the book.
Yeah. Is this the one you're talking about? Snowflakes of ash fell so lovely. You were tempted to stretch out your tongue to catch them, to taste them. Only they would have scorched your mouth and your lips. They would have cooked your mouth.
Yeah. Like he just did stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think having Rosa as like tough love as she was, like it just kind of fit with how he wrote the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
I liked Rosa.
I
She was really like really in your face at the beginning, but I kind of like just over the book I just grew to really like her. And like when you see her at her weakest, when she's like holding the accordion and like bent
yeah,
over it,
that's
like
what
it
I was
just
gonna mention.
it's like, yeah, it just, you think about all the people around you and you think about the people who like put up that front of like no nonsense, tough, they're just really harsh, but deep down like we're all people and we all like have a tender side to us. And
Yeah.
that was like magnified so much more because of her personality, which I really liked.
You took all the words right out of my mouth, pretty much. Yeah, she was one of, I think, my favorite character journeys in the book, like following her, because yeah, at first she came across super harsh and you're like, man, this woman is abusive. Like when she just like, well, she's like calling Lisa like derogatory names, and she like makes her go clean the spit off the door when that woman comes by and spits on it or whatever. Like she just like, and then like the whole thing with her like taking her and making her like do the laundry runs and stuff. Like she does do some like really harsh, pretty abusive things, but yeah, like it was just, yeah, that journey of like walking through and like seeing all the moments when she when it turns out she had a heart in the end. Like, she actually really loved Liesel, and like coming to terms with the fact that she actually really cared about Liesel, like despite her faults, despite the fact that she was just this like hard woman. And yeah, like Michelle says that Rosa was perceived as a dictator to kind of blend into her surroundings, but then she ended up being like a hidden gem. Like she, yeah, like she was that like Nazi German persona, but with, but she was human in the end, which, I mean, I'm sure most.
Which, can I just say, like, that's one of my favorite moments of the book, when Death is talking about how he took Rosa, like about her hair was out and she was like in the middle of snoring. I laughed so hard when I read that. It was hilarious. Like, that was one of my favorite parts of the book, as dumb as that is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely liked. I think Rosa was one of my favorite characters, just solely for the development. Yeah, just like coming from one place with her. And it's not that she really like grew. I don't know if you could say that. Would you say that she grew throughout the book, or you just learned more about who she was?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say you learn more about who she was, because like when Hans brought Max home, I was like, oh my goodness, what is Rosa gonna do? But she like, you just kind of catch a glimpse into who she actually is.
Yeah, like she cared.
See, and I knew that she was
probably developed the least. What's that?
Oh, I knew that she was going to do what she did. Like, it just, that's the vibe she gave me.
You knew that she was going to be okay with it?
Yeah, she was going to, like, everyone is expecting her to just be like, what the hell? Like, you can't have a Jew in the house. What's going on? But I was like, no, she's totally going to surprise everyone and be like, no, we're good. Let's get this going.
Yeah.
You were right.
She gets it done, you know. It's like, yeah. Rosa was the person. I think if Rosa wasn't there, it probably, like, the whole thing with Max would have failed. Like, I don't think Hans would have been able to execute the lie properly without Rosa behind the scenes kind of like really like making sure, like, okay, because Rosa's the harsh one. Like, anytime when it comes to secrets, like especially secrets you're keeping from like loved ones and friends, like Rosa, I think, would have been the backbone that like made sure that that was kept a secret, despite, like, of course, like Liesel would have wanted to tell Rudy and like all this kind of stuff, but like that would be a hard secret to keep. But I think without personalities like Rosa, like stuff like that is impossible. Like, you need the tough love sometimes to.
Although Liesel and Hans did keep a lot of secrets from Rosa.
That's true.
and Hans was pretty, like, that was the, you kind of caught a glimpse into like parenting a bit with like Hans when he's like, you cannot say anything or we're all, I think that was Hans, right?
Yeah, Hans
like,
was the one that,
or
like,
we're gonna get taken away. I'm gonna burn your books. Like, he was so harsh, and it was like, oh man, that's like the reality of parenting. Like, you have to do stuff like that.
Yeah, Hans had a couple moments where he really like laid down the gauntlet. Yeah, like that was one of them where he was like, if you say anything, I'll have to take away your books and burn them. And then the second one was when he slapped her in the face.
Oh yeah.
What was that over again?
Because she said she hated Hitler.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that was like
not say that.
Yeah. He just straight up just smacked her.
Yeah,
and
that
then
was
made her like Heil Hitler on the steps.
Wow.
But I feel like if he wouldn't have done that and someone had overheard that, like if he wouldn't have punished her that way, the people would have been so suspicious and been like, why aren't you like making your daughter, like, no, she needs to love Hitler, essentially.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, we have another joiner. Welcome, Maria.
Hey.
Yeah, Michelle says tough love to help carry the story and bring the reader into the family historical time frame. Yeah, definitely. I feel like that whole situation. This is another thing that was really nice about seeing the German perspective on the Jewish war, like these Germans that were hiding this Jew, but they still had to put the face of a Nazi German on. Like that tough love was definitely like a main theme, and it was necessary. throughout the book. So yeah, the moments when Hans really had to lay down the law were really interesting to me because the whole book you expect that Rosa's
It's gonna be Rosa.
Rosa's the one. Rosa's the character that is tough and just the tough exterior, but deep down she loves. But Hans is the one that just like wears his heart on his sleeve and just loves unabashed and unashamedly. But he knew that love means doing what's best, I think, for the people that you love. And so there were a couple circumstances where I think he had to like really frighten Liesel to make sure that she did like
she understood the severity.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was so like out of character that it like totally was like, okay, I won't do that.
Yeah, she's like, definitely. Yeah, I think maybe tough love means more coming from somebody that isn't usually tough.
Yeah.
Like
the same way like you saw Rosa's tender side magnified because of how harsh she was.
That's
it was
true.
Totally same thing.
Oh my
with
gosh,
Hans.
it's contrasted. Yeah.
Yeah. Inversely.
I love that. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that yeah, that's a really good point. Sorry. Stop laughing at me. Yeah, obviously everyone loves Hans. Like he was definitely a message board favorite. Everybody was like,
him.
"You didn't
I'm just kidding.
Oh, what?"
He was great.
I'm trying to read.
He was like obviously one of my favorite characters. Just because he was so nice, you know? He was just so nice.
Yeah, it's just like hard
to everybody. Like he painted for people for free. Like the one quote where he's like, "Sorry, I can't," like says that to one person, but then by like 2 houses later, he's painting someone's house for free. Like it's just like such a reflection of who he was.
Yeah.
And like, you know, painting over the Jewish slurs and stuff like that, even though they get put back on the shop and stuff, like he was just so tenderhearted. It was just beautiful. I really liked him.
Yeah, to the point of like putting his life on the line.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like I think one of the what would I describe this as? One of the most heart-stopping moments in the novel was when he like, what did he give that Jew, a sandwich or something? The bread. Yeah.
Oh man.
That was
like,
one of my favorite moments.
What are you doing,
sure.
Hans?
Yeah.
No, you're gonna get killed or something. Yeah, that was crazy. I couldn't believe you can believe he did it, but it was wild.
Yeah.
He felt so bad for it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess, well, yeah, that's another thing. Like, I like how, looking at the German perspective from things, you're sort of like, what is the right answer in these situations? Because you have these Germans who don't actually hate the Jews, and they like completely disagree with Hitler's propaganda and like just everything he stands for. But at the same time, it's like, like it would be great to stand up for the Jews, but then at the same time in doing so, you're like putting your family at risk. And if you're like, I think Hans's problem too was that he was hiding a Jew, and that's sort of what, like, that's when Max had to leave, because all of a sudden he had put Max in danger by standing up for this other Jew. So it's just like, I that's one thing I liked about reading from the German perspective, was just like the reminder that like, it would have been really hard for them to stand up for the Jews because they had a lot on the line, and it's just like not black and white is the thing. So it's hard to point fingers and say like, why didn't you do this in this situation? Because it's just like, I think that scene more so than anything, it's like he did something that was so good and so amazing, and that Jew was just like so touched by it and like blown away. But then on the other foot, Max ended up having to leave because all of a sudden he was put in danger, because now Hans was like marked for sure as like a Jew lover or whatever. So it's just like not black and white. Like it's like caught between a rock and a hard place almost.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what I would do in that situation. Like knowing that you had to sacrifice your morals to uphold your morals. Like it's just a weird like a weird conundrum. Like you don't know, like should you help that guy? But then, he didn't really think of the consequences. Like that would just suck.
Yeah.
That'd be the worst.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it, is like he sacrificing morals to uphold morals. Yeah, that's a good way.
We should talk about
Okay.
we should talk about Max and Liesel's relationship.
All right.
It was adorable.
You kick us off, Kirsty. It was adorable.
I'm gonna get some water.
Yeah, can you? Yeah, I'll mooch some. Yeah, that was obviously like, because from that came out my favorite part of the whole book, was that book that he wrote. What was it? The Standover Man. So good.
Yeah.
So many amazing things. What?
The fairy tale or the book?
No, the Standover Man, not the fairy tale. Yeah. But yeah, so what are your thoughts?
I think it was really awesome that he was able to find a friend like that. Like it was kind of, you would expect him to be friends with Hans, but to be friends with Liesel, it's just like, it was just, really good for her to have someone like that who, just made her feel, like she was important, like she was doing something.
Yeah.
And like vice versa, like she loved spending time with him and she liked doing things for him, and it just, to feel that, like for a child, I guess, to feel that way about someone that like they know that they have to hide, that they can't talk about to anyone else. It's basically like having an imaginary friend that you can't talk about.
Yeah.
That would be hard for a 12-year-old or however old she was when he first came.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even I just loved their relationship. Like it was just like ecstasy for me reading about it. Michelle makes the point that they were both orphans and bonded in an odd situation. That's for sure. Looks like I'm stalling a bit here.
It was like, I found the relationship really layered because like there was almost like a fascination that Liesel had with Max because he was a Jew, and like there was that on top of like just the weirdness of having somebody like staying at your house that, like we said, you're not allowed to talk about, and like that imaginary friend aspect. So I found it like really layered in like she's growing up with all these things that people are saying about the Jews and like how you're supposed to hate them and stuff, but she's like seeing with her own eyes that they're really interesting people and like really unique people as well. Like, and so there was like sort of two threads in their relationship, and I really liked how that was portrayed. Because they were different realizations, but they kind of converged and became like she just loved Max. She like cared about Max, and it wasn't anything to do with his, that he was Jewish or anything like that. It just the two sort of, I don't know what I'm saying. the two threads came together like super nicely. I think kind of halfway in between the Standover Man and when she got the fairy tale from him or whatever.
Yeah. Can you hear us okay, Kirsty?
Yeah, your video is just like,
yeah, the video is like really weird. As long as you can hear us, yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can everyone else hear you guys?
Hopefully.
What if you just like mute the video quick and then...
Let's try that. Yeah, our video is just being weird. Can everybody else hear us okay?
Stupid delay. Cool. Okay, they can hear you guys, so. Yeah, I agree, Michelle. I mean, she didn't really have a whole lot of exposure, I think, before. And I mean, she also had a communist mother apparently, and so that was like forbidden too. And so I don't think she ever felt any bad feelings towards Jews because she was like, oh well, my mom got taken away from me because of her beliefs. So, and I think that's wrong. Like, she was a good person.
Oh,
Oh,
why won't the?
Hello.
Oh, here we go. We're back. We heard everything you said, but we had to like unplug my camera and plug it back in. So we were like, Kirsty, good. She's carrying on the conversation for us.
I was like trying. I was like, oh.
Kirsty will keep talking.
They should be able to hear me, but I think I was probably mute the whole time.
No, you should have been. They should have been able to hear you. It was just our camera that was like being ridiculous. Yeah, sorry. What were you saying now?
Yeah. Oh, just like I don't think Lysol ever like had a bad feeling towards a Jew because, you know, her mom got taken away from her basically because of her beliefs. So she already she was kind of in the same situation. Like, it wasn't her specifically, but like
right,
taken away from her mom because of her beliefs. So that's what
true.
happened to Jews, and so she probably felt a lot of sympathy for them.
That's true. Yeah, she already was like ripe for the turning. Yeah, but that's really true. Yeah, Lisa like struggled with that for a long time, her whole life. I think her mom getting taken away from her. But yeah, so it was nice to see. Oh, sorry, I'm like trying to form my thoughts. Do you have thoughts while I'm like just like babbling here? No.
I like, as the book kind of came to a close, I was like, Max had better be in one of those parades. Like, he better not be dead. I was like, because side note, like, he does a really good job of spoiling it for you and then still making it worthwhile to read.
Yeah.
Like, I found that so crazy. I'm like, oh wow, he tells us Liesel dies. Great. What's the point? Yeah, he like tells you who's gonna die and when they're gonna die and how they die, like all the time. But you still are like captivated to read. Like,
yeah.
I loved that about the book. But anyways, so he didn't say Max died. I don't think. Like, he might have mentioned it, but so I was like holding on to that. I'm like, yes, Max is gonna be alive. Like, he has to be in this parade. And like, when she sees him, like, that's probably one of the most like heartwarming parts of the book, is like that. It's like, it's heartwarming and gut wrenching at the same time, because she gets like, you know, beat off by the soldier or whatever, and she like runs back again, and like, I don't know, I just, when I was reading that, I was just like, had so many things going on, I didn't know what to feel. But
I know, you're like, yes, Max is alive, but he might die.
Yeah, exactly. So. You're kind of like, I was on the edge of my reading position. I was like, oh man, what's gonna happen? Like, are they gonna shoot them? Is Liesel gonna die here? Like, I had no idea. But I was so happy that he was still alive, and they actually got to like talk after he gave her that fairy tale, and like, just that moment, like, are you the young man or whatever, you know, like, when she's, you know, it was just beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah, that was a really beautiful moment. I think that was one of the moments that I didn't like. There was just so much going on emotionally through this whole book, especially the last part. Like the whole on the message boards, how we divided it. Like, I feel like I somehow like I was just lucky to divide it in a way that was like really good, because like the whole last section of the study was just like so emotional for me, and there was just so many things happening that it was like so good. I just like felt so into the story, but it like took weeks for me to like really like register what was happening. Yeah, that was just like so, oh yeah, so good when she sees him in that parade. Like, he's still alive, but then at the same time, like, he has to go. Like, he can't just
Stop.
Yeah, and then he walks back into her life later, and it's all hunky dory.
I think
It's
I
all
think if he
beautiful.
would have killed Max off, it would have been like it would have ruined the entire book.
I don't. Yeah, like I'm definitely like a reader that appreciates death when it has purpose, and when it fits like with the theme of the book. And yeah, I don't think Max dying would have fit with, because like I think their relationship definitely represented like the like sort of a not a rejuvenation, but how there could still be love between the Jews and the Germans, like how wrong Hitler was in his agenda. So if Max would have died, I feel like that would have been contradictory to what he was trying to say in the novel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was kind of like a light in the darkness, so to speak.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, and it's just like it's so wonderful that Max was like he was the one thing that she had to hold on to, and like that relationship, that like forbidden friendship was the one that ended up being the, like, I'm sure it helped her heal, like, and even her relationship with Rudy's dad, I think, was the other guy that kind of survived everything, that she would go like visit him in his shop and stuff afterward.
Well, she was working there, yeah.
Yeah, she was working there, but yeah, her relationship with Max, I think, definitely like the fact that he survived and they their friendship was therefore continued was definitely symbolic of what Zusak was trying to say.
And that they got to meet later too.
Oh, so good. So
that
good.
was awesome.
Oh man. What was I gonna say? I forget.
I liked how Liesel was like the last one to die. Like it's almost like death kind of, well, I mean,
Death loved her.
Yeah.
Death loved her so much.
Death totally did not want to kill her or take her, whatever.
Oh, yeah. I remember what I was gonna say. I really loved the whole spoiler thing. Like I loved yeah, and Michelle points out like Death doesn't care about spoilers. He's Death. Why should he care? Yeah, like well, exactly. But I also really like Zusak's like use of the spoiler because it took away attention from suspense. Like I feel like suspense was not the point of this story. And so but I haven't really read another novel that so bluntly took it away. Like I feel like even if suspense isn't the point, authors still like strive to have a little bit of suspense or like whatever. But I feel like Zusak just like nipped that. He was like, I don't like, it's not the point that you're on the edge of your seat wondering who dies or not. It's everything else that's the point. And so I really liked the use of spoilers for that reason. It just like blatantly took your attention away from like, you know, the gimmicky kind of suspensey thrill theme to novels, and like put it like highlighted something that was way more important.
Yeah.
But even still, like, even though he did that, it still was suspenseful, you know? Like it still was like
still so good.
You still wondered what was gonna happen next.
Yeah. Like you didn't know how Rudy died.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I agree, like he really does a good job of making it about more about the characters than what happens to them in a way.
Yeah.
And you really grow to like love these characters and like see the genuine struggles that they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not like thinking about, oh, do they die or not? You know, he really did a great job of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really unique from my perspective. Like I can't think of another novel where the author just blatantly was like, yep, this person's gonna die, like but then for that purpose, like to just make it about the love of the characters and like their story, like what they went through, the whole. Did you like the use of that spoiler, Kirsty?
No.
You didn't?
I was just like it took me 2 out of the story. Like I was like, why are you saying this now when it's not going to happen for another like 2 or 3 chapters or even another part of the book. Like, I was just like, what's the point in me bringing this up now? I do agree that it kind of made you focus on other parts rather than like being devastated, like, oh my gosh, like all these people died. But it did get you to focus on the rest of it. But I was just like, it was like, oh, by the way, this happened, but we're gonna get to that later. And I'm just like, no, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I like a good suspense, you know.
Yeah, that is true though, because I did find myself like every time Rudy like did something, um what would be the word?
You're like, is he gonna die here?
You're just like, is he gonna die here? Like every time they did something like adventurous or
Like when he jumps in the river.
yeah, when he jumps in the river, you're like, yeah, he's dying now.
He's gonna get hypothermia.
Because when he first, when Death first tells us that Rudy dies, he says he doesn't die of pneumonia.
Yeah.
And then I was like, so when I read that part, I was like, oh, this is where he dies. Oh no, wait, he said he doesn't die from pneumonia.
Yeah.
So,
I had that exact same thought pattern.
yeah.
Yeah, I did like it though. I can't help it. I just love creative stuff like that. So I guess if I didn't feel like there was a point to him spoiling that, I wouldn't have liked it. But I felt like it really it highlighted the other things he was trying to say. Like there were just a lot of themes and issues in this book, and it was almost I just loved that tool, just like straight up this foreshadowing, except not even shadowing, just straight up he's gonna die.
Yeah.
So whose death affected you guys the most?
Everyone. No.
Well, they all died at the same time, so holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, are you trying to kill me, Marcus Zusak?
I was hoping Rudy was gonna die separately.
Who? Oh, Rudy. Okay.
Yeah, like for some reason I was like, oh, he's gonna die, you know. I honestly thought that one of the kids that hated him was going to like beat him up so bad that he just died from his injuries, but
Yeah.
that didn't happen, which I'm thankful, but at the same time I think it would have been good if he would have done it like that, because it would have shown like the brutality of some people who were like, especially if it was his old Hitler Youth leader, it would have showed the brutality of like how they're being raised or how they're being forced to be brought up, I guess.
Mhm.
It would be sad, and it would be really not something good to read about, but it probably happened. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just was really upset that he died with everyone else, and she just got everyone taken from her all at once. And I really wish there would have been like 1 or 2 people just separately died.
Well, Max separately died, kind of.
Well, yeah, but we don't know when or where he died, so
Yeah.
or how.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. I was reading this part with all the deaths on the bus. Like I was finishing
Oh, no.
I was finishing my book on the bus, like the city bus, and I got to this part and I just like, actually no, I started reading it at work. I was like bagging buns and reading this and just like crying. And then
These buns are so salty.
and then I was taking the bus home and I was reading it and I was just like crying. And then I ran up to my apartment so fast and finished it. I was just like weeping for like a solid half hour at least.
I think like all the main character deaths are like, yeah, they're impactful and stuff, but one of the ones that sticks out to me to just show like deep down we're compassionate human beings was when the enemy pilot is dying and
Oh,
Rudy goes and he gives him the teddy bear or whatever, and like the guy says thank you to him. Like to me that was one of the most impactful moments of the book, as far as like when Death is talking about taking people away. Like it just showed that like even this kid whose city or whatever, whose country is getting bombed, he wants to give this guy like something while he's dying. Like
Yeah.
it was just super impactful.
Like he was dying because he was in the middle of attacking
yeah,
their country. Yeah, Rudy
But-
was a great character in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'm assuming the pilot was an enemy pilot, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he was a German, or
No,
sorry,
he
a
was
Jewish,
He
or
was an ally or
an
whatever.
ally.
Is that what they
No,
were?
I
Allies?
don't even know.
Sure, ignorance here.
Yeah. So Michelle agrees that the teddy bear part showed human compassion. Yeah. Even for people that you like disagree with, which is like what Hitler was missing. Like he had no compassion
What? No.
for people he didn't agree with.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so just because you were a German at that time doesn't mean that
You were horrible.
you were a horrible person. Not at all. Like another rock in the hard place kind of thing was that moment when or like when those people when the Germans came to take Rudy to, what do you call it, Nazi school or whatever. Yeah, they came to take him away to like go to school to become a Nazi soldier. And his dad like said no, like you can't take him. But then Rudy ended up dying, whereas if he would have went away to school, he would have been alive. And so his dad like struggled with that later. So that just like again shows like, okay, his dad thought he was making the right decision in this circumstance and standing up for his conviction and like morally making this right choice. But in the end, it ended up costing him dearly. So yeah, there were just like a lot of examples of that kind of rock in the hard place thing where it's just like not black and white. People are compassionate. They have reasons for doing what they do, even if you can't like see it right away.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know whose death I was most affected by, but I definitely like the moment in the book where she was talking about how she was like, she looked at like Rudy's body and she looked at Rosa's body, but she just like couldn't bring herself to look at Hans's body yet. I was just like, oh my gosh, I just like lost that. I don't know if Hans's death affected me that like the most, but that part definitely.
But her
like,
reaction.
her reaction to Hans's death really affected me. Like how she just like couldn't even.
She couldn't even.
She couldn't even.
could
That's
not.
what it'd be like if you died.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so I think her reaction to Hans's death definitely affected me the most, but I don't know whose death, like in and of itself. Because I guess the reaction of the character would be like half the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like that's half of the thing that makes you emotional.
I also found her brother's death was like super impactful because it like set the tone of the book.
Yeah, that's true.
And
it like kickstarted everything.
And it gets her, it starts her out on her trajectory throughout the whole book with like stealing the books and stuff. Like, so it was maybe not impactful in the sense of like emotionally, but as far as like storyline and like that kind of stuff, it was like, so it was super inciting
Super necessary
for the entire book. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you
like
kind of
she wouldn't have gotten her first book.
Yeah, exactly. And you kind of like forget about her brother's death. You know, she mentions it like throughout the book, you know, like when she's Ilsa Herman or whatever her name is, the mayor's wife.
Yeah.
Like she talks about seeing her brother there and like.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a forgotten thing from like initially, but it's super important to the book, I think.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, because there were oftentimes like, oh yeah, her brother died. Oh right. But yeah, so like an issue that was so like not current, but so foundational to everything else that was going on. What did you guys think of the fact that occasionally she would see her brother and he would kind of like direct her? Because it only happened a couple times, so it like wasn't a regular.
I think it only happened at the mayor's house. Did it not?
Yeah.
I think it happened one other time, but I can't remember when that was.
Yeah, those are the only times I can remember.
and
like twice at the mayor's house. Him just like, what are you doing? Why are you being so rude?
I think her brother, like, I think that was super important for her because in a way her brother is what got her reading. And like the times that she sees her brother, like at the mayor's wife's house, he's saying go back, like he's trying to get her to keep reading. So it's like almost from his angelic state or whatever, he's saying to her like, this is who you are, you have to keep reading, like don't give up on this kind of thing. So that's kind of what I got out of it, was like he was almost like a, you know, a heavenly like prompt for her to continue doing what she is supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how exactly I feel about it, because yeah, again, it only happened a couple times, so it's almost like it feels like an afterthought to me.
Yeah.
Almost like Zuzak was writing it and he's like, maybe I should make Liesel see her brother once in a while, but yeah, that's a good point that he like made her, like he always prompted her to keep reading, but I don't know. I almost wish it would have happened like a couple more times. Like I don't know what the significance of it only happening like twice was. And that's like the struggle I'm having with it. It's just like not consistent enough throughout the book for me to be like it was almost, when it was happening, I was almost like, what's happening right now kind of thing.
Yeah,
like is she seeing her brother? Like what is this?
Yeah, it would have been nice if he used it as more of a device in the book, but
yeah. So I don't know if that was purposeful on his part. Any thoughts, Michelle? I don't know if it was purposeful on his part, only having it a couple times, if there's some sort of significance that it only happened then, or if it was just sort of like, I don't know, like it sort of just felt like something that was thrown in almost, or like maybe he had deleted scenes and all the deleted scenes had these other moments where she encountered her brother. But I don't know how I felt about that.
I think it was important to bring the brother back into it every now and then, but maybe not necessarily like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Should we talk about Rudy?
Sure, let's talk about Rudy.
I'll just see Michelle's comment. Rudy was awesome.
Yep. Rudy was awesome. Rudy was he was cute.
Rudy's like that crazy kid in elementary school who will do anything, who has like super twitchy, like ADHD, sort of like, he's just like the crazy kid who it's like, oh yeah, you know, like, oh, guess who flooded the school bathroom or something like that. Like, oh yeah, it's Rudy. Of course. Yeah, Rudy did that. Yeah.
But yet he was like super smart. Like he was the top of the class, basically.
Yeah, he was like just gifted in everything.
Yeah. Yeah, he was cute. Always asking for kisses or whatever.
I wish they would have.
I know.
Before he died.
That was so.
That was the most disappointing thing.
When he came out of the river, I think would have been a good moment.
Yeah, when he went and saved her book out of the icy river, that would have been a nice moment. And she was like feeling it at that point, right?
I expected them to kiss in the suit shop.
Oh yeah.
Like when they broke in, it was like, and she was going to,
Christmas.
And like Liesel like was like, I should kiss him right now, and then what happened?
Because she's 13.
Didn't something happen?
And too young.
Yeah, didn't something happen that kept them from kissing at that part?
Hold on, I'm gonna find it.
I don't think so. I think she was just like,
I don't know where it would have been.
I mean,
Michelle says the first part where he does the blackface, I was thinking, yep, he would definitely be my hangout buddy. Yeah, he like does the blackface as that runner. Yeah, what a crazy kid. Yeah, Rudy. Yeah, I think he's just an automatic. You love Rudy. Like, I don't know if it's possible to not like Rudy as a character. Just he's crazy. He's carefree. He's compassionate. Yeah, he's just a good character all around. He's like looking for something. What did you think of? Wait, did you find it?
No, don't mind me. I'm
Okay.
just gonna try and find this because I feel like something did happen. Oh, the suits fell over, didn't they? Or something?
That
I
was
don't know.
when they were in the dark, though, before they had like a light.
Yeah. I don't know.
Epilogue. Yeah, no, that's. Yeah, I don't remember, but that would have been the perfect moment for her to kiss him. So, like, do you guys like that they didn't kiss? Obviously, it's like a disappointment. Like, we wanted it, but from a literary perspective, what do you think about the fact that her and Rudy didn't kiss until he was dead? Well, I guess you can't even say her and Rudy kissed. She kissed his cold, dead lips.
So morbid. I think it was important just to show the impact of like the war or whatever.
Well,
Like,
not
it
only
just-
that,
it
How
just-
much it took away.
Yeah, it just like ripped
Yeah.
people you loved away from you.
Yeah.
So I think in a literary sense it was important. But from like just a straight up like selfish reader point of view, it's like
Yeah.
it's so dumb.
I wanted this to happen so bad.
and that's
Yeah.
like the YA lovers in us. Like, there's got to be some action, so to speak, romantically, and it doesn't come up, and you're like, this is why I read YA. Just kidding.
Okay, Michelle's glad they didn't kiss because it would have turned into a mushy love story. Yeah. Yeah, because I guess that's another thing. That wasn't the point of the story, was to make it a love story.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it kind of kept their like friendship more innocent in a way,
Yeah, that's true.
you know,
Yeah.
which in some cases is like a lot more meaningful than, you know, if they did have a more romantic friendship.
Hmm.
So yeah, I would agree with that. I think.
Yeah, like you knew there were
Good point,
there were
Michelle.
definitely, yeah. Shout out to Michelle. This or the river, yeah. There were a couple times when it would just have been a good time for a kiss, but
Is what's the other girl's name? Is she still here?
I don't know.
Where'd she go?
She came in
Maria.
for like, Maria, are you
Maria.
still around, Maria?
I think it still would have been okay if, like, they could have still kept that innocence if it was just like a quick pack, like right after it's like, thank you for getting the book out of the river for me. Kiss. Okay, let's move on. Like,
Yeah.
you got what you wanted. We're done.
But then it almost would have felt like, I don't know. Yeah, Michelle. I think Maria left. Yeah, I think Maria left too.
Maria, come back.
Yeah, if they would have kissed, I don't know what definitely, because the river came before the suit shop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
I
that,
think.
like,
Yeah.
in scene perspective, that would have been a good time for a kiss, like in real life. But in book perspective, like, then what? Then how would have he played out that relationship after the kiss? It would have changed things for sure. Like, that relationship would have changed, and then maybe it would have made readers kind of like, it would have changed your perspective on the relationship, because I know, like, they were obviously like into each other in like this innocent way. Like, Lisa like wasn't sure what her feelings were even. And Rudy was just Rudy, like always asking for kisses and stuff. But because it definitely would have like changed the whole flow of the book, I think, if they did end up kissing. Like, I could have maybe seen him getting away with it during the suit shop scene, because that's like right near the end, right? Like, there wasn't much story to affect after that. It just would have affected the death scene. But I think there definitely was like a certain dark poetry to the fact that she didn't kiss him until after he was dead.
Yeah.
It definitely made it more heart-wrenching, and you felt the loss a whole lot more, I think, because the whole time, like, that's almost what you're wanting as a reader. You're like, you guys need to kiss. Just do it. So he like built up that desire in order maybe that we could feel the loss to the extent that she did. Like, that it was like almost symbolic. Like, it was like it wasn't just a relationship, but it was also like this thing, like this specific thing that we were wanting and didn't get. And so I feel like we felt the loss harder because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe she didn't fully realize how she felt until after he was dead.
Yeah, he does that thing again where he like, because he says Rudy doesn't get a kiss when he's alive, at least. Like, I'm pretty sure that's in the book, right?
Did he say that?
Yeah. Something
Yeah,
like-
he
Or no,
says,
Death says that.
yeah,
Oh,
like, yeah, he says Rudy doesn't get a kiss, at least when he was alive. And so,
Yeah.
like, you know
You
he's
know
not going
he's
to,
not
but
getting
you
that.
still forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
At least I did. And I'm like, oh man, are they gonna kiss? And then they don't. And I was just like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Rudy.
She probably took a little bit more like risk after that, I think. Like, 'cause it's almost like, well, I didn't get to kiss him and I should have, so
Yeah, I
Next
feel like
guy.
that would affect
I'm
you
gonna go
in a
for
certain
it.
way. Yeah, Death says he's not going to get kissed until he died. Yeah,
Yeah.
Michelle confirmed that.
So this is bothering me. I gotta find that suit shop. Where is it?
I can tell you the chapter title.
What's that?
The chapter title, it was the Anarchist Soup Shop.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, that helps a lot.
Do I have any other notes on?
What part is that in, Kirsty?
I want to say part 9. Oh, can I also?
Oh yeah, it's the end of part 8.
Oh, okay. I was gonna bring up the whole part about Rudy being naked. I was really confused by that chapter.
Rudy
Like,
being
I
what?
understand why
Oh,
the
like
naked
the naked-
Rudy.
when she thinks about him being naked after, I'm just like, I was just confused.
Yeah, wasn't that sort of what made her clue into the fact that she might have feelings for him, thinking about him naked?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay, that's what happens.
what happened. Fill us in.
He tries on the suit and then he puts the lantern on the counter and like comes at her in mock anger. And then he trips and falls on the mannequin. And he's on the floor and then he closes his eyes and she comes over and she's saying to herself like, kiss him, kiss him. And then he's talking about he says I miss him when he's talking about his dad? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so and then they don't. That's what happened. He trips over the mannequin.
Freaking
Mannequin.
mannequin getting in the way.
It is suit. I thought it was soup. Yeah. Now I'm just imagining everyone in suits that I see from now on as soup.
As soup.
Yeah. Yeah. A chicken noodle suit.
That's a nice soup you're wearing.
Yeah. Clam chowder tie.
Yeah. Tasty. Anything else you want to talk about Rudy on? Anything else come to mind? I mean, you can bring him up again later, but before I abruptly switch topics. What was I looking at in my notes here? Okay, there was a quote on page 355. I'll look it up real quick that I liked. This is like going back to the character of Hans. Where would this be?
Oh, let's talk about how nice he is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, everything's talking about how nice Hans is. Yeah, this is talking about it's like when him and Liesel would go and paint things. Was that for money?
Sort
Yeah,
of.
this is like all in context of how he would like paint people's stuff for like free and just be like extra nice. But then Liesel would always be like, he would drag the paint on the wagon, and Liesel would carry the accordion, and he would like there was that one day when, or while the quote is like, better that we leave the paint behind than ever forget the music. So like that quote stood out to me because I'm really like adamant about chasing your passions before chasing like having a pocket full of money kind of thing. But like everything, like even though they were struggling and broke and stuff, it's like he's like, it would be better that we leave any opportunity for advancement in the world behind than ever forget the music, which was his passion, like the good things in life, the things that made them smile, and like the things that they actually like lived for.
Yeah, he was saying like, just have fun and don't make it about business.
Yeah, that was one part that really stood out to me about his character. What did I heard like a photo thing.
I think it was your roommate taking a screenshot of something. What are you taking some Snapchat screenshots or what? Oh, I called it.
I'll be right back. I think I'm gonna go get my headphones.
Okay.
I think you guys are coming through my speaker as well.
Yeah, that's why we're wearing headphones because of the feedback.
So there's no looping or anything. Leave behind work, have fun to do.
Yeah, exactly. That stood out to me about his character. Because they were in like the worst situation. Like they were really poor.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter how poor they were, like he would still give people like free paint jobs. Like he would help them and put people first and put his music first and just like put everything that was like that he was passionate about. That was more important to him than filling his pockets with money. And I don't know, that probably just stood out to me because that's just like important to me in life, just generally thinking like quality time with people and doing things that I love is more important to me than being rich or whatever.
Yeah, I would rather spend my life going after things that I enjoy than having a career job, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, there was like one quote on here. Oh.
Page 102.
Okay. I don't know if...
For you listeners out there.
Yeah. My roommate's laughing at us.
Why?
I don't know. She's just like, she's just listening to us and laughing. For all you listeners out there. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna flip. I'm at page 102. I hope this makes as much sense or as little sense to me now as it did back then. But I was basically gonna ask for insight on this because I feel like there's some sort of like German symbolism here that I'm just not getting. Maybe you guys can shed a light on. Page 102, middle paragraph. In the Huberman household that morning, all was typical. The Sauerkraut's looking out the window again, cursed Rosa Huberman. Every day, she went on. What are you looking at this time? Oh, moaned Papa with delight. The flag cloaked his back from the top of the window. You should have a look at this woman I can see. He glanced over his shoulder and grinned at Liesel. I might just go and run after her. She leaves you for dead, Mama. Schwein, she took the wooden spoon at him. Papa continued looking out the window at an imaginary woman and a very real corridor of German flags. So I just don't know who the woman was. What is that symbolism there?
I think he was just making a joke to Rosa.
Oh.
Like he's just saying, hey, look at this hot babe. Wow, she totally annihilates your looks, Rosa. I think I'm going to go after her.
That totally went over my head.
Yeah.
See, and here I thought
At least that's my interpretation.
Yeah.
And then like the corridor of flags, I think it's just like the house with all the street with all the houses with flags in their windows.
Right.
That's how I interpreted it.
And he just like every day he would look out the window.
He's basically just, he's like, oh yeah, there's someone who's more attractive than you, Rosa. Pretty much.
Wow, that went way over my head. Here I thought it was gonna be like this, like
epic.
Yeah, like back in Nazi Germany, the woman symbolized this and this and this. But no, he was just making a joke about some sexy hot
making
babe.
his wife jealous, like Michelle said.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. Wow. Just
Tell
clueless.
you take a joke.
That's hilarious. What haven't we talked about yet? Michelle, was there anything you wanted to talk about? You can throw in, direct us. Was there anything you were wanting to address? Oh yeah, she says he was checking up on the safety of his neighborhood. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Hans also, like, when he's checking out the German flags, like staring at them, I feel like he's grieving a little bit because he doesn't agree with the whole Nazi agenda. So I feel like, thank you. I feel like it sort of distresses him a little bit, and so maybe like him staring out the window is just him like contemplating everything. Because I would imagine it's hard disagreeing with your entire country.
Yeah.
I would imagine you would second guess yourself a lot.
Kind of like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why? How come I don't share these thoughts?
Yeah.
But I think he says a couple of times. I can't remember. He was just like, it's the right thing to do. Like when he gave the bread to that Jew, he was just like, it was just the right thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, let's talk about the epilogue, or even just the ending. Okay, so death in general. Let's just talk about death in general as a character. Where are you going, Gabby? My roommate's leaving.
Oh, hot date, she says.
Whoa.
Pizza.
Actually, are you going on a date?
No,
Oh.
Are you going to get pizza?
I am, but I'm taking it to Jody's. Sorry, you guys got trained into it without me.
Dang it.
Yeah, let's talk about death in general as a character. I think, because are there any other characters that were like significant to the story that we haven't really talked about?
Oh,
Like, there's like Issa. Is it Issa or Isla? Issa
Ilsa?
Furman? Ilsa? None of the above.
Isla. Isla.
I have a book called Isla and the
Ilsa.
Happily Ever After.
Hemmerman? What was her name?
It was Ilsa.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Maybe
sure.
maybe we should talk about, let's talk about her, like the whole thing with like Liesel going to steal books from her. Bye Gabby. One thing that I really liked was how Zusak did a really good job like making the theme of words and language being like important and life-changing in this book. And I really liked the fact that one of the books that Ilsa left for her to take was a dictionary, because there's no like story in a dictionary. Like there's no the words aren't
At least one
arranged
that's not
in
written yet.
Oh, poetic.
So poetic.
So poetic. There's no like, the words in a dictionary aren't arranged in a way that has any emotional meaning, but it still became a symbol of something emotional and meaningful. And I really like that. Like the fact that he was able to make reading and words such an important theme that he could make like the dictionary had meaning to the significance of the theme of the story. I really liked that. I think that was one of my favorite parts of the whole relationship between Ilsa and Liesel, was the significance of that dictionary. And just like something like so meaningless to us, like, okay, so we like learn words, but to her, like, it was so foundational. And it was so foundational to like the theme of the book as well.
Words. Words are good.
Yeah, I think for Ilsa, like, Liesel was like a reincarnate of her son in a way. Like, that's why she cared about her so much, was because she lost her son, and her son used to read together, and like it was just kind of a nice reminder for her about her son. Yeah, and I like the fact that she was like super easygoing with her. Like she knew she was stealing books from her.
Yeah.
She knew she was jumping in the window, but she continued to allow it because she knew how important it was for a young person to have that knowledge with them, and she had seen Liesel steal the book from the burning pile initially, and so she knew that like Liesel was super passionate about it and like really cared about books and had a genuine curiosity about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that too. How, like, because I'm just sitting here thinking, like, if I had a beautiful library and some little grimy child kept breaking in and stealing my books, I don't think I would be as easygoing as Ilsa was. I would be like,
Yeah.
no, like, those are my books. I'm sort of protective of them.
But I think the reason why she was so like laid back about it was because she wasn't in there very often. She would
Yeah.
go in there, but it would just remind her of her son. So
Yeah, that library was beautiful, though. I think we got quite a few comments on the discussion boards how people were like, "Oh my God, that library!"
I want.
Like that was
I
our
can't
favorite part of the
even.
books. I cannot even. Yeah, so nice. But yeah, that was just the fact that she was the mayor's wife, like, was the thing that made Liesel fear her in the first place. Because technically she should have definitely been part of the Nazi like regime, the Nazi train of thought. So she should have been a lot more harsh, but it turns out that she was just like broken. And she had been broken by the Nazi regime and by the whole war. So I think she herself saw, she was affected by it enough to just be like, to want to like reconnect with, just connect with Liesel in a way that was just, like they didn't even have to talk. Like I'm pretty sure they didn't talk at all when she went there.
No.
At first, right? Like Liesel would just go in and she would read, and Ilsa would sit there crying or something,
Hunched
or whatever,
over.
like hunched over. Like they
Doing
wouldn't even talk.
what?
It would just like, I think that relationship was, it was just so significant because, just all those reasons. Like they didn't talk, and like, but it was so inspiring. Like, Michelle brought up that Isla was the one that like inspired her to write. Like, but there wasn't a huge exchange of verbal words in their relationship. It was all exchanged through this shared passion for reading, and then through just being kind and reaching out and wanting to make a connection, she was able to inspire her to write as well. So I thought that was cool. It was like not about the verbal words, it was about the written word.
I feel like they even like wrote more to each other than they even talked to each other.
Yeah, I think that's 100% true.
Like,
Yeah.
They wrote each
Until
other
they
a few
basically
letters.
adopted her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Michelle just said.
Yeah.
It pretty much was all like written
word
letters.
exchange. Yeah, you're
Which was
completely right,
so
Michelle.
bizarre.
Yeah, but so significant. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good job, Marcus Zusak. Yeah, I love finding tidbits like this. It's just so good. It was all written word exchange, which just like fits like right into the theme. So like Isla was definitely a strong theme supporting character in their relationship. I guess in this book, like everybody was a strong theme supporting character. Like this was definitely like a significantly symbolic book in general. And the fact that they adopted her at the end was so nice. So beautiful.
So perfect.
They survived. Yeah. Well, because they lived in a different district, so that ended up being the reason they survived. They were richer.
Yeah.
Which was a point of conflict at first, but turned out to be like a saving grace.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't think that like street wasn't specifically targeted. It just happened to be one of the streets that got hit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Death as a character then. Let's just talk about him briefly because that'll bring us like to the epilogue too. And just like how beautiful it was when he was taking everybody's souls. Like I really liked that. Like just like and of course we have Rosa who's like in the middle of a snore. I don't know. I just love all of that, like getting Death's perspective on things, because when we die it's like in the middle of things, like it's funny, but it's also like, yeah, like you can't control what you look like when you die. So he gets to see all sorts of things about people that like he just catches us in random moments, and I think that was really cool. And him just like taking like seeing how it like the exact second that everybody died and what they were positioned like or whatever. There was just something really cool about that.
I liked what he said about Hans when he died too. I can't remember what exactly it was, but I remember I liked it.
It was like he just his soul sat up. Like he was just like, yeah, you know, my time came. Let's go.
Oh yeah, that's what he said. Was he was like willing to go.
Mm-hmm.
He was willing to come. Yeah.
And that's how Lester died too.
Yeah, this whole, I mean, the concept of death as a narrator could be so morbid, but it turned out to be like so beautiful. Like everything about it, like the color as the symbolism, how he sees like the sky in colors that reflect the mood or what's going on, like setting the scene, everything, just like the moments he takes the souls away, like the vulnerability he sees, because like these characters were all the most vulnerable at the moment when they died. Yeah, and as Michelle confirmed, yeah, Hans accepted leaving and going with death. He was like perfectly at peace about it. Yeah, I just really, I really like that. And then the moment like when he met Liesel, I think Michelle brought this up before, and we weren't. I think we moved topics too fast and didn't get to it. But she mentioned like when he met Liesel on the beach, and they were talking about her book, like her journal, as if she was like an author. Like he was talking to her about it just like in awe. And so like I thought that was a really cool concept, the idea of death being like awestruck by a human. Like death's perspective on the world changed because of this person. And if you think about it, Liesel really like didn't do anything significant in terms of like world changing, like groundbreaking things. Like she didn't know a lot of people, she didn't affect a lot of people, but she still changed things. She still like changed the atmosphere, and she still changed like the perspectives of like even death, like something so intangible and for sure, like what is the word I'm looking for? Like death is just like constant. Like something so constant as death, she changed it.
And then,
she changed his perspective.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really intriguing, and he was just like so amazed by her. And I really liked the scene where they finally met. Like Liesel finally passed away or whatever, and they had like a legitimate conversation. Like, and he gave her back her journal, and she was just like, "You have this? You read it?" Yeah, I really liked that scene a lot.
Yeah, the end of the book was super like calming compared to the entire rest of the book. Like it was just, I don't know, I really liked how it ended. It was just like on a beach, like just so serene.
Yeah.
You know, it was just after all the like chaos of what had just happened in the book, like it was just nice to have sort of just like a breather.
Mm-hmm.
And just like have that sort of like soft leaving of Liesel. She didn't die violently. She wasn't like taken in a way. She just kind of left.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
Yeah. It was a beautiful scene. Kirsty,
I want to know who she married.
I know, that's what, yeah, because that's another good thing is like she ended up like
Having a life.
She had a life, like even though like she suffered this like horrible trauma, like she got everybody she cared about taken away from her essentially. She still was able to live after that, move on and have a family of her own, and continue and just like build out of that. So I think it's along the same lines as Max. Like if Liesel would have died without developing something strong and something good and pure, I think it wouldn't have fit so well with the theme.
Yeah.
But yeah, I overall I think one of my favorite things about the book was that Death was the narrator. Like it was just a creative perspective, and a creative idea, and it really, I don't even know. Like I just like wonder about his whole thought process when he was developing this book and writing it and stuff, and just like why he initially thought that Death would make the perfect narrator, because at first you'd be like, Death is a narrator for this? I don't know. But then it ended up just being so perfect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really liked that. But, yeah, Michelle says she was this generation's Anne Frank. The story was told through her words, through Death. Yeah, which was another cool thing. It was like Liesel's life story that he read in this journal, but he was telling. So yeah, and that answers your question from the message boards, right, Kirsty? Because you like, weren't sure. You're like, how does he know all this stuff?
He only saw her 3 times in his life, so he was able to like say his perspective on those 3 times that he came across her.
Yeah.
Like kind of like a snapshot of what her life was like at that point. But then he got to read through it, at least the first part of her life.
Yeah, because yeah, when you said that in Messenger, I was like, oh yeah, how does he know all that stuff? But it was because like he was like telling his version of what he read from her journal, and then like adding his own perspective in, which yeah, it just ended up being a really, really cool perspective in my opinion. I really liked this book. Like I would reread this book again, cry again probably. Yeah, I think this is probably in my top 10 list for sure. But I think the more I read, the more I'm discovering that I love historical fiction. Like I've been reading classics, which is another kind of glance into like history and that kind of thing. I just think it's fun seeing what or it's like really informative seeing what people in other times went through and what they were thinking outside of a textbook, because like Kirsty can attest to this, we just had crappy social teachers.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, shout out to Mr. Monroe. Yeah.
Nightingale.
Yeah. He was just, yeah. Well, we had Nightingale was good, and then in junior high we had some good ones, but this one guy in particular just made history like horrible. It was such a drag.
Yeah. I was actually talking to Eric today about like how I really wish we didn't, not that I didn't like, I don't know, I hated social, and then I wish that instead of in high school, like if you went to post-secondary, that it would be required for you to take some history. So I'm like, I would appreciate it so much more now than I did then, because then I was like, this is boring, I don't care, I don't want to learn about this. Like some of the stuff I did, but the majority of it I was just like, I really don't care. And now it's like I would totally appreciate learning it now, and I would remember so much more.
Yeah, definitely. Well, even like if you learned it in a fun way, like reading, or even like I've appreciated playing the Assassin's Creed video games, because I learned history in a fun way from those, like more than I ever learned from school. Like, and granted, like that's not going to be like obviously completely accurate, but still, I know a lot more about certain wars than I did. So, So yeah, like I've just been really appreciating historical fiction for that reason. Like I didn't like history or social when I was in school, but when I'm reading about it, it's a whole different story, because here I have characters that I'm all of a sudden like I'm able to put myself in their shoes and see what they're feeling and thinking. Subjective. And it's, yeah, exactly. As opposed to just like reading facts or like reading what happened to this person, you're able to get into their mind more and see what was happening in the world around them. And
it's more artistic.
Yeah, it's more artistic and memorable. That's for sure. So.
Yay for the art. Woo.
Yeah. So yeah. Anybody else have any closing thoughts?
I don't think so. I don't.
Nope. We talked about pretty much
No.
everything.
Yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything. And I mean, if anybody has any more thoughts that they want to share, the message boards will still be up. We'll still see the comments and take part in them, so feel free. Thank you, Michelle, especially for joining us again.
Woo, Michelle!
Go
Yeah.
Michelle. Are we picking the next book?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michelle, good. I'm glad this book inspired you to read more historical fiction. I really enjoyed, from the classics thing, I just read Pride and Prejudice and Gone with the Wind recently, and I really liked both of those. Gone with the Wind was, super long, but once you get to the end and look back on it, all of a sudden I'm like, holy, now I totally understand what happened, in this war and blah, blah. Yeah. Yeah, 3 cheers for Michelle.
Hip, hip, hooray.
Hooray! Hooray! Yeah, so what we just need to do real quick is pick what the next book is going to be, based off of the suggestions on the message boards. I can probably search them real quick and take a look.
I have them up right now if you want.
Oh, you do? Sure. There are a few. What I notice is that Wicked is mentioned lots.
I think that would be perfect because I'm going to go get my Wicked inspired tattoo tomorrow.
Ooh.
Oh no, wait,
Have you
not
read it
tomorrow,
before,
Tuesday.
Kirsty?
No.
Really?
No, I just saw the
You're getting a
musical.
Wicked. Oh, okay.
Well, it's inspired by the
Tattoo?
musical.
Is that what you just said?
What?
You're getting a Wicked inspired tattoo
Yeah,
tomorrow.
on Tuesday.
Why did I not know that you have a tattoo appointment?
I don't know.
Hey,
That's
hash,
crazy.
hash this out in your own hangout.
Yeah, what the heck? Okay, so I don't know. I think since that one was suggested the most, we could do that.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you I was good with either Wicked, Water for Elephants, 'cause I loved the movie.
Did you?
Or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Those were the 3 suggestions that I was.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
My
lower it down.
hashtag earlier on Twitter was perfect.
That's so funny. Yeah, those were the 3 that we were looking at. I've been wanting to read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for a while, and also it's nice and short, so it would be a quick read. But and Water for Elephants, I heard, is really good too. So those were the 3 that I was also looking at. But I don't know, based on the fact that Wicked was mentioned 3 or 4 times, do you think we should go for that?
Apparently, a movie
That makes
coming out
sense.
as well.
Sure. Okay. So Wicked it is then. That is the winner.
Woo!
All right. Okay. Well, thank you, Mitch and Kirsty, for joining me on the panel. Are you going to be on next month's panel, Kirsty?
Yep.
Yeah. You think you can get Wicked done by the end of Feb? We'll probably have. Sorry.
Nope. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Wicked will be the read for January and February, and then we'll do we'll meet up and do another live show sometime at the beginning of March.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll have to get my hands on a copy of Wicked. Mitch here is going to be a little bit too busy.
We'll see.
He's going to Nigeria at the end of February.
Oh, well, I guess, yeah, that would be hard to be on the panel.
I could read it on my 17-hour plane flight.
Yeah, you could. You're a fast reader.
Yep.
All right.
You
Okay.
should. Just do it.
Yeah, you should. All right. So, well, if he does, he's welcome to join us.
Cool.
And Michelle could be a panel member if she wanted to. If you have a webcam, we can try and get you hooked up. So, all right.
Now that we know how to do it.
Well, maybe. I don't really remember what we did. We were sort of just clicking random things, and finally
we'll
something
remember.
worked.
We'll
Yeah.
remember.
You know what we should do? We should do a week before, just get together for a quick.
Yeah, we should plan
That
this
really
out.
would be a good idea. Yeah, that's what we really should have done this time, except I was in Lethbridge. That was the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, you were too busy
so-
spending time with me, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So next time we will get together in advance and make sure we know what the heck is what.
Sounds good.
Okay, well, thanks, Kirsty. Thanks, Michelle. All right, so I will get the new message boards up on Goodreads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michelle will get a webcam. Sweet.
Yay!
Join us next time. Awesome. That'll be so much easier talking to you through webcam as opposed to
chat.
Chat. Yeah. You can get more words in edgewise that way. All right. Okay, Kirsty. I love you.
Bye. Thank you. Have fun.
Bye.
See you later.
Yeah, bye. Thanks for
Michelle.
joining us, Michelle,
Goodbye,
and anybody who
listeners.
was like watching or will watch in the future. Oh, and join us on the message boards for Wicked the next couple months. If you need a link to the Broken Book Club on Goodreads, I will put it below. Otherwise, you can also take a look at my other Broken Book Club videos. The link is definitely on the bottom of those. So yeah, definitely check out the Broken Book Club. Get involved. We have discussion boards you can follow along and give us your opinion on. Yes, it's awesome. So yeah, thanks everyone. Bye.